Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the next Gateways of Destiny. God calls, calling God, calling up Gene Key 43, Epiphany. Wow, what a day today is. Um, where do I even start? The Gene Key for this week, as I said, is Gene Key 43. We are focusing or calling in the experience the essence of epiphany, and which has the gift of insight, so epiphany and insight, and the shadow is deafness. So if you're playing along with these, calling God, God calls, and working with the Siddhic frequencies, then most likely what will show up as you're asking to be a grounding vessel for epiphany. You may have many insights, awakenings, um, ahas, new ways of looking at things this week, as well as seeing where deafness uh, shows up in your life, where the shadow of deafness shows up. So all these things are possible. I mean, but the fact that we are starting Epiphany on 11/11, and then I'll show you the numbers, and it gets even more synchronistic. And the fact that today we had a 5.1 colossal, that those are the words that they're using, colossal solar flare, which is extreme. It's an extreme solar flare. I don't know the right terminology, but these solar flares have immense impact on the consciousness of the planet, as well as technology, our energetics, our physical being, emotional, our heart has a real impact on us. And that 5.1x solar flare is now sending a huge, massive coronal mass ejection directly towards Earth. Okay. And the impact, it should impact us within the 12 to 24 hours. So in the next 12 to 24 hours, who knows what's going to happen? You might have like a total epiphany awakening, which is how Richard describes epiphany. So see how I smoothly rolled into that, changing topics. Yeah, just speaking about epiphany, how Richard does. This city is obviously about the great awakening in your life when consciousness recognizes itself and you're like, oh, aha, I recognize that, oh my God, there's no one here and none of this really matters and it's all kind of a joke and it's hilarious. And how how when this epiphany hits, it is, I mean, it is quite funny. You're like, oh my God, I've been working on myself, I've been working on my personal self this whole time and it doesn't matter. And the deeper you get into it, I have tree cutters now. The last video was hilarious. I had my own workers here. They were sawing, and now I've got tree people. Anyway, I know I should move into another room, right? I can still hear it. Anyway, and then the deeper you get into this epiphanic epiphany that no one's here, there's no one to whatever experience it, whatever, you realize, oh my God, how impersonal and non-caring your true self, that which you really are, really is. And none of this matters. None of your behavior really matters. It only matters like here. Anyway, it is quite funny, hilarious. However, that's how he describes epiphany. But of course, epiphanies, what we're going to be calling in, hopefully, I mean, hopefully we'll be calling in a real awakening. But of course, epiphanies can be these ahas and ta-das and who knows what else, or just something that strikes you and it makes you laugh because it's so absurd. So, but the gift that he uses the word insight, and he speaks about insight. uh, I like the way he speaks about it. It's fine, but I wish he would. Anyway, he calls insights, and it's talking about the creative rebel. That when we start following our inner truth, then it produces all of these creative rebels, and we bring freshness out into the world, and we're like being our true self, and everybody's happy. But I what I wish he would talk about is insight, how to utilize your inner sight, right? Because that because it's hard. Where do I want to go with? I'm going to stop this for right now. We're going to talk about insight, and I'm going to talk about practical ways to get your inner truth about a particular situation or thing that's happening in your life in a real practical way, the way that the I Ching talks about this particular gene key slash hexagram. And this hexagram 43, is called breakthrough, which fits with epiphanies and having insights and ahas, but it's also called resoluteness. Now, before I go on to that talk, I want to show you, because I have to do it. I love the numbers. And once again, the numbers are so perfect. I mean, like scary perfect for today and for this word epiphany. And I know I desperately try to keep these videos as short as possible because I know people just don't have the time or the energy, but I can't help myself. My creative rebel is, hey, I got some knowledge and some wisdom and some information that's really practical. I can't help myself but sharing it. And of course, and I love the numbers and I'm going to share it. So uh, I I apologize, but don't apologize. Okay, I've got to show you the numbers. So let me share screen. You're going to love this so much. Okay, I'm hoping you can see. Yes, you can see this word epiphany. And I mean, today's the 11/11, right? And in general, when people in the spiritual community see 11s everywhere, they're like, oh, an awakening's happening, an epiphany is going to happen. Great, something. So, I mean, look at these numbers. The foundation, and don't worry about the second number, but what do you see? 911. So this whole calling in and in accordance with the hexagram 43, how the I Ching talks about it, is like when there is an emergency situation going on in somebody, this is like epiphany and insights are like your 911 call to the cosmos, because what these numbers are saying, I mean, and let me just back up and say, wasn't 911 like one of the biggest awakenings for people when they finally figured out, holy shit, somebody's not telling the truth, something isn't right. So I just love that epiphany is a 911, or insight is like 911 to the universe. I need help. I need to see something differently. Help me out. And it just comes in like a little whoosh, and there you go. Anyway, so the foundation, of course, of Epiphany is the number nine, which it has, a whole vast set of meanings with the number nine. But in here in this system, where it's saying the number nine is all about your empowerment, your inner strength, your inner knowing, your inner will. And because an epiphany always aids you in your inner knowing, which builds your inner strength so that you can stand up for yourself. And then what the nine also means is actualizing your full potential out into the world. But it also means that you are fully embodied and connected to the divine, and the divine is working through you, right? There's like no one here at this point. But at different levels, it means just being yourself, being fully embodied. And the nine means that I'm very kinetically being able to use your senses. You're sensing your environment. You're getting all the clues for your inner truth. We'll talk about this in just a second. And then we have the 11 and the 11, which means, okay, when there's a 911 call, it means, oh, someone's not empowered, their inner strength, their inner will is being usurped by the ego. And then this epiphany comes in, this nine, this little shock from Shakti or whoever comes in, and the 11 says, um, you've got a dependency on a structure that is no longer working for you. You have a false thought. You're stuck in a dependent relationship, a job, or something like that, and you're going in the wrong direction. You've got all these illnesses or something is happening, and we need to shock the system. So it comes in and shocks the system. And this can be a small shock or a big shock. This is so be prepared this week. We might have some shocks coming towards you or in you or whatever. Or you begin to see, oh, I am so stuck in this situation. I'm highly dependent on this. My beliefs are very rigid here. I need a wake up call. I need to see things differently. And that's what the success of this word epiphany and the 11 means. You're it a shock is going to come in to give you an aha, a mild or a strong shock, so that you can create a whole new structure of truth that brings you back into alignment of your own power. Okay, I'm going to stop share. I mean, isn't that fantastic? Epiphany 911. Yeah, so the trees. I have to get back down into my body and feel the situation. So how the I Ching speaks about this breakthrough resolution, it is really talking about how do we gain our inner sight, our inner knowing. And that happens when we engage our feeling senses, our five senses, our oh, now I can't even think of it, our seeing, our hearing, our smelling, our taste, and then our touch. Um, let's see. I'm losing my train of thought. The noise is driving me crazy. Um, but our inner insights, our inner vision is based on these body senses, okay? And then through how we smell a situation, and I don't mean literally smelling, although it could, it's like these senses are our sense organs of the infinite, right? They're out in the field and they know the truth of the situation, and they bring this information subtly back into our body. It travels up the spine and it hits the back of the neck where our will and ego versus divine will rest, right? And then it brings images and words into our mind to tell us yes or no, or is the situation good or not. So let's see, how do I want to say this? There is a way, Richard says, of course, that you can't do anything to bring about an epiphany or perhaps an insight as well. And this is fairly true. However, you can extend an invitation and create the atmosphere that makes you ripe for an insight or an epiphany and an awakening. And that is through being in the body, out of this area of the brain, and in here. Because you'll notice that, of course, this is an act of grace, but grace loves you to be in the body and out of the mind, because she's like, you're too busy up there. You're not going to get what I'm sending through. I mean, don't you know? I mean, haven't you noticed that you always have these little ahas when you're doing things like, oh, I'm going to do the dishes. I'm taking a shower. I'm in maybe on the toilet. It's like when you're really more embodied and you're not busy up here, right? So I think that this week, if we try to be a little bit more in our body, we can extend invitations for these insights and epiphanies. Now, I will just share with you how this inner vision insight works in helping to. I know it sounds like I'm going off topic a little bit, but I'm just sharing how the I Ching talks about this breakthrough in knowing your inner truth and insight. And that is, so when I compared and I am asking my body, right? You get in the body, you just become conscious of your body, right? And there, take a little deep breaths, you settle down. And what I did was, I'm going to compare what my inner truth is, my inner wisdom wants to say about my work situation versus these God calls. And so when I'm down in the body and and then I look up into my third eye. You don't have to, you'll get the vision anyway. So I'm asking my senses, and I ask my senses one by one. How does my work situation, what do you think of my work situation? And usually one of your senses is more predominant than the other, and it will answer in a way that it's using my sight, it's using my smell. For me, it's hearing quite often and smell. But what I got about my situation at work was the vision of a whole orchestral, excuse me, like symphony going on, but it was like everyone was playing the wrong note. All the brass instruments were falling down. It was a horrible sound. It was like awful, 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 right? So I can know immediately what my senses are telling me. My inner wisdom, my inner truth says, no, this is not for me. When I asked about the God calls, oh, I heard a lovely symphony. When I asked my note, like how does how do the God calls smell? I got a beautiful rose, and then I said, how do the God calls taste? And then I just got like the most delicious, like best vanilla ice cream ever. Like it was just so gorgeous. And I thought, well, there you go. There's the answer. What is good for me? What is not good for me? And so you would say, why, why am I still, why can't I leave this job? And here's the teaching, and this is what the I Ching is talking about. When they talk about breakthrough and resoluteness, they are not talking about having a breakthrough of ahas and epiphanies and awakenings. What it is referring to is you're having a breakthrough of resoluteness or inner strength to say no to the ego. Say the ego starts flaring up in yourself, within yourself. A situation happens and you can feel this, and you can feel your normal reaction coming up, but you have the ability to say no and step back. I'm not going to do it this way. And I know even myself and one other person had this experience this morning and yesterday. So we're already inviting an epiphany and resoluteness and insight, right? This is, anyway. So when so why do people stay in a situation when they know their inner truth? I'm speaking about myself. Why do I stay in this job when I know it's like killing me? It's the worst thing. My inner truth says no, 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 no to all of this. And I will tell you it's I obviously, because I have no willpower to quit, because I must still, which I have to find, I still have a false belief going on inside of me that is not allowing my divine will, my inner truth will, my resoluteness and inner strength to come through and quit. My true will is being usurped by something that's still left in my thought process, right? So this was a big aha for me. I just realized that I'm here. I'm experiencing my own insight and aha right here live. I didn't realize I just realized that. Okay. So I know this is long enough. So, all of these things. So it would be kind of interesting if you have situations in your life like, wow, why can't I figure? Like, is this a good thing or is this? You can check your body, and really, this is how you strengthen your inner insight, inner vision. Okay. So, however, you can end this recording now because we're just going to do a little tiny short activation, or do it your own way. But however you do it, just kind of 1 minute, drop into the body and We are going to ask whatever our higher self, our true self, God, source, whatever resonates with you, to activate and awaken epiphany in this body. And maybe like me, I don't know if you can see it, but I feel an energy flow. However it feels to you, and get the feel. What does epiphany feel like for you? Feels so strong. And then we just do a little prayer to our higher self or universe. Please make me a grounding vessel for epiphany and insight into this world, into my sphere of influence. We wish to have many people receiving insights and epiphanies this week. May I be a grounding vessel for this Siddhic frequency. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, there you go. This is a long video, and now you can completely forget about it. And let's just see what happens this week. Okay, until next time. Bye bye.